back to more of the Tony Tone Show on Muscatine's Vintage Sound. 93.1.
It's officially 1 minute after 8 o'clock on Thursday. I saw this yesterday on our sister station's Facebook page, The Voice of Muscatine, and I kind of thought that it was going to happen based on conversations that Muskie head football coach Jake Mueller and I had during the season, and it did. So it was announced yesterday. They've redone the districts, and coach is right over there in studio. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me in.
You're welcome. Good to see you. So when I said on the radio earlier that they did some redistricting,
yes,
that's okay.
Correct. That's what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't know if I could say it like that, or
yeah, that's exactly what
you
happened.
being an educator, you might correct my grammar, but everybody. It's like they hit the shuffle button essentially, right?
Yeah. Yep. They did that in Class 4A through 8-man football. Everybody.
Wow.
Yeah.
So everybody will have
like L&M and Wapello, Wilton. They all have new districts too.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So this happens, and how does it work? Because you're the head coach, and did you know when it was going to happen? You knew it was coming, or what?
Yeah, I knew it was going to happen yesterday.
Okay.
They've kind of let us know a timeline of things. It's a little bit annoying, though, because they tell you there's an email coming in the morning and an announcement coming later.
Yeah.
But what you just wish once they have all the information, you wish they would come out and tell you.
Just one email.
Yeah, so I got an email in the morning. There was a kind of a big deal, a decision that they had to make. Class 4A was going up to there's going to be 48 teams, and there used to be 46.
Okay.
And so they were trying to decide, are we going to have 8 districts of 6 teams each, or 6 districts with 8 teams.
Okay.
And so that was kind of the controversy as far as which route they're going to go. They took a poll of 4A head coaches and ADs, and so I wanted them to choose to have the 6 different districts with 8 teams. That way you can ensure that the majority of the games that you're playing are going to count towards playoffs.
Right.
From what I've read, a majority of coaches on the western half, the Des Moines area, schools in Sioux City and Council Bluffs area, they wanted to continue with the 8 districts of 6 teams. And generally, if that's what they want, that's what they get, and that's what happened. So we got an email yesterday morning saying that it is going to be the 8 districts of 6. So yesterday morning, I kind of knew. Well, I did know that's the direction we were going. So brought us a little bit more clarity of how that's going to work. And then it was around 2:45, I think, where we actually found out who was going to be in our district.
Yeah.
So now we know 5 of our games. And so then the next step is that I'll meet with Mr. Worthing and we can talk about some choices as far as some non-district games. So we get 4 non-district games.
And you get to pick who you want. I mean, you have to work with the other school's program, but you could suggest.
Yeah, so what they do is they give you, they have you submit a top 6, I guess. And generally you usually they tell you your top choice. And then we'll have some discussions with some other schools to see if both schools have each other on the list somewhere.
Yeah.
Usually you can get that matchup, and so that's kind of how it'll work. The state will come back and tell us what our schedule is with those 4 games and the district games on there as well. So
can you say one team that you'd like to play, or can you not even talk about this yet?
I can say.
You probably have to be careful, I understand.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get into
on your wish list.
Yeah, I won't get into it too specifically.
Yeah.
I'll mention 2 teams because I think it's pretty. We assume that we would have Burlington in our district, but they aren't. And just with the proximity to us and them on the river, and I think there's been a rivalry for a while there. I think that's a team that we might have on our list, and then. We've built a pretty good rivalry lately with North Scott.
I was just going to say North Scott, yeah.
Last time it came around, both of us had each other as number 1. We haven't had that discussion yet. So, those are 2 teams I think that could possibly be in there. The rest of them we'll have to kind of talk through that a little bit more.
Because even if you want it to happen, as we found out, you may have voted one way with the amount of teams in the district, and
Mm-hmm.
they went the other way. So
Yeah.
you could say, I'd love to play these 4, and they could say, yeah, you're going to play these 4 instead.
Right.
Okay. Well, it's kind of like a hierarchy a little bit. Like, I would like to do this, but you're actually going to do that.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I guess to a certain extent. So that's fascinating, though. So here's what we know. District 7, Muscatine, Bettendorf, Clinton, Davenport Central, Davenport North, Iowa City High.
Yep.
That's a fun district.
Yeah.
Bettendorf,
Yeah,
a
Bettendorf,
perennial powerhouse.
Yeah, they'll probably be preseason 2 or 3 ranked
in the state.
Yeah.
And
then I bet City High will probably be, if I had to guess, City High will be ranked like 5th or 6th in the state.
Yeah.
Most likely.
But you, Muscatine, should have.
Yeah, I mean, I feel good about our team.
Yeah. But not only you feeling good, but any preseason rankings for us? I mean, some talented kids coming back.
There's been some preliminary stuff out there as far as what people think we're going to be and whatnot, and I think people are going to have
and I know you can't concern yourself with that.
No, not at all.
But
yeah, I think we bring a lot of guys back, and so people are going to. Probably write some good things about us going into the preseason that don't mean anything,
right.
But I think most likely we'll be ranked in the top 10 going into the preseason.
Why?
Again, that means nothing.
Right. It's right. Of course, it can all change. It's interesting though how they do that. So, but I want to go back to the amount of teams in the district because I'm thinking about that, and I feel like it makes 100% sense. To me, to have 8 teams, because like you said, so there's 6 teams, right?
Yeah.
So with the 8 teams, you would have additional game. Why does that? I don't understand that.
So yeah,
because then you could eliminate some of these non-district games.
Yeah.
Not that they don't mean anything,
right.
But why not have them?
So that's my thought.
Right.
I want to play as many games that would count towards the playoff as possible. That's why I wanted to have 8 teams in our district. The reason I think that some other schools didn't is because the flexibility of their schedule, where if you're in Sioux City or Council Bluffs, you don't want to be told you have to go to Des Moines or Indianola or Marshalltown.
Right.
You want to have to be able to, you'd like to be able to, if you're a Council Bluffs school, have the flexibility to put on the other 2 Council Bluffs schools on, or so things like that. If you're a Cedar Rapids public school and say if you're Kennedy and Washington and Jefferson weren't in your district,
right?
You'd want the flexibility to be able to put them in your district. So I see it from that sense. The other part to that I think the state looked at is it's cleaner when you are deciding playoffs.
Sure.
Because when you have 8 districts, it's pretty easy. If there's 16 teams that are going to qualify, you just take the top 2 out of each district, and it's pretty clean cut.
Right.
Where if you had it the other way, where there was just 6 districts, if you did that, there would just be 12, and then you'd have to figure out how we're going to get the remaining teams in. So I get that part of it. I just
respectfully disagree.
Correct. Yeah,
I'm with you.
But
yeah,
what I found the last 4 or 5 years is every time I had a pretty strong opinion about something, things are usually gone the other way. So we no longer have a MAC conference. We don't have 2-a-days. So there's, you just kind of get to learn to live and go with it. So
I know
we'll whatever comes our way, we'll be fine.
So this is, I think this is a good-looking district, for your team. So again, it'll go like this. If you're listening, Muskie head football coach Jake Mueller, you'll have 4 games, then you'll kick off district play. And we know that Bettendorf's going to be good. Clinton has a great quarterback coming back. It was a shootout for you guys last season.
Yeah.
The highest scoring game of the year, probably, right?
Yeah.
Holy cow. Iowa City High, always respectable, as you said. Central and North, you never look past an opponent, but they've had a few rough years. And then there's that school called Bettendorf. So I think that for your team, you have to be encouraged and excited, right? Because, these are going to be some challenging games, and then they go ahead and say that only 2 teams are going to go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So then you kind of got to amp things up a little bit more, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
it's like, so they changed everything up, and by the way, now we're only taking 2 teams. So
yeah, I think as a coach, you're competitive.
Yeah.
And so the first when I saw it, I saw 2 teams that I think are going to be excellent next year, but at the same time, like bring it on. We're excited. We feel like we can play and beat anybody. So, so there's two parts that there's a lot to consider with that. But last year, it was kind of the same setup. However, they took 4 out of the 6.
Right.
So you could have a game where maybe you didn't play your best and you maybe lose a game that you shouldn't, and you still had an opportunity to play a 10th game. That's not the case next year. You have to bring in every district game and play at your best. And if you fall down and stub your toe against a team or a game that you shouldn't have, you're sitting home week 10. And so that's kind of the focus in that we're going to have all during our district play. And, so that'll be a little bit different going into next year for sure.
And as it stands right now, on paper, at least in regards to the district, there's not a lot of travel. Yeah. If you pick up a Burlington or North Scott, those are quick trips. Yeah. You don't foresee a trip to Dubuque on the horizon?
I don't. I don't.
Or Ottumwa?
You never know what'll happen, but I doubt it.
Good.
But, I want to play good teams. I want to play teams that are going to challenge us and make us better going into the district. And so, what that ultimately looks like, we'll have to wait and see. But, I don't see any Dubuque trips. I don't see any Ottumwa trips. I won't rule others out.
It could happen. Surprise. Yeah. So it's obviously January, and football seems like it's a long ways away, but it's not. And you have athletes that play multiple sports, so basketball or wrestling or whatever. So what's going on? Are you lifting? What's happening with the football program in January?
Yeah, so all of our football players are taking strength training in the school day or early bird. And if they can't fit it into their schedule, then we have after-school lifting. That's mostly freshmen.
Okay.
And then we like as many of our football players as possible to compete in other sports. And we think there's a lot of value in that. And so a lot of them are doing that after school. So they're lifting either before school or during school, and then they are competing in another sport after school. Those that aren't, we do speed and agility and some conditioning 3 days a week.
Awesome.
So we do that Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays. And so we have a good group of guys that are working really hard and trying to make each other better every day in there. So we do that. We actually are meeting today. We have a football meeting today. We're going to vote first. We always pick 10 off-season team leaders, and then we kind of put together these off-season teams that they lead. So we're going to start that process today with an election.
Awesome.
And then next week, those 10 team leaders, I'll put them into 5 teams, and they're going to draft their off-season team. And this is more for varsity kids. If any of the sophomores want to participate, they're welcome to. But the commitment level is a little bit higher, so we expect our varsity guys to kind of participate with that. So we'll start meeting on Friday mornings before school and do some leadership and character kind of stuff and kind of get to know you activities, because we don't get to see each other as a team all together, for a long time. And so
I think, really long time.
Yeah. So if we can, we need to, if we just wait till August to, build some of that team chemistry, then, I don't think that's the way to do it. So I like to get going. So really in February, we'll start that process and then, kind of get going with that. So we do different team competitions. They, within their teams, we have some mornings we'll meet and they'll have competitions. Other times, the competition is, your report card or
That's awesome.
How many guys are out for track or how many guys are out for another sport. So things like that as well. So we got a lot going on, but we want them to focus on the sport that they're currently in, and we want them to be good basketball players and baseball players, and we want them out for track and soccer and those things too. But we also want them to remember their commitment, and football season is going to be here in no time. And
it is.
Some of those other sports, not that it's the same, but you can pick up basketball or there's other things you can do beyond high school. You can't put on the helmet, shoulder pads again.
Right.
98% probably of our kids are going to be done.
Right.
And so that short window, we got 9 games, 5 of them that are going to determine our playoffs, and so it's a pretty small window of you've got to seize that moment or else it's over. And so we want to work extremely hard to make sure our seniors, it's a great senior class. I want them to have the very best season we can possibly have. And so we don't want to not have them prepared for that. So we're going to do everything in our power to make sure we do that.
It's going to be fun. I know that much. And like you said, it'll be here before you know it. It's crazy. Not related to the Muskies, Drake Kulik. How exciting is that for him and for you? And wow. So obviously the Rose Bowl didn't go like we would have hoped, but we get some good news with Drake in the depth chart coming into the 2016 season. And that have you talked to him since that?
Yeah, I have actually. He last Friday, it was his last day in town. He came in, stopped in to see me at about noon, and he stayed around for about an hour. Talked for a long time, and he's excited. He's motivated. I think he's worked really hard. He's been. It's rough to go from a walk-on and kind of, bottom of the totem pole to kind of work your way up. And very few guys kind of stay the course. Eventually it gets tough and guys go away. And, Drake has stayed the course, and, he's finally starting to see some of the fruits of his labor a little bit.
For sure.
This year, he got to travel. He traveled every game. He was on kickoff return every game. And, so he got to see some of that a little bit. And now seeing his name on top of the depth chart, I think, is a huge shot in the arm to him. I know, he's excited about it, but I know too he's motivated. He knows nothing's guaranteed until you step on the field. But he's really excited. It's a great opportunity for him. He's a smart, bright, tough kid that I think if he continues to stay healthy, I think things are going to continue to go well for him.
What a good example for your program for kids that, not that they're discouraged by any means, but as far as how determination and, like you said, I mean, that his story alone, right? And it's January and we're still going to come into that season, but what a message for some high school kids to hear and to see. Right?
It's about following a dream too, because he had a scholarship to play at UNI. He could have taken that.
Sure.
But his dream was to step on the field for the Hawks, as is everybody. A lot of guys, a lot of high school players want to play for the Hawks, but the percentage is just so few. Yeah. So few get to do that, and he was given the opportunity, and he took it, and he's ran with it.
Yeah.
And another thing that's exciting for him is he wants to go into strength conditioning. He wants to be a college strength and conditioning coach.
Boy, does he have a good one at Iowa.
Absolutely. And so, he's in the job interview every day with Coach Doyle.
Yeah.
And one of the best facilities in the country. So he's in a really good setup, as far as professional development for him. He's in an internship all 5 years he's there.
Right.
And so you can't ask for a better recommendation coming out of college than the best in your profession.
Yeah.
And, Coach Doyle, a couple weeks ago it came out that he's the highest paid strength conditioning coach in the country. He makes, I think, $500,000 or $600,000 a year.
Holy cow!
And so it's him and the Alabama strength coach, and then everybody else is behind him. So he's highly regarded.
Yeah.
And
he's terrifying too.
Yeah,
in person.
Exactly.
I got to meet him. Yeah.
But he's a really good guy,
he's a good
actually.
Guy. Yeah.
But Drake, I think, has made a great impression on Coach Doyle, and Drake knows that he's got to work hard every day in there, so then he can have some good opportunities for himself in that profession after high school. So it's been a really good career decision for him to go there and to have that opportunity.
Tell you what, you can always spot Coach Doyle on the sidelines because he is an intense. He's a great guy. I met him at Media Day 2 years ago, and wow, what a impressive resume, and just talk about people that have the respect. Yeah, you're right for Drake. What a good opportunity.
Absolutely.
Holy cow. Man, that's cool. Well, I'm excited for Media Day in August or whenever it is to go see Drake and and Brian Musell and I went, and Drake was there. It was cool. Jake Rudock was still there, but I think I'm more excited for this coming one.
Yeah, and it's been cool because Drake has known he's had to put on weight, and you can every time he comes back, it's not huge gains, but it's 5 pounds, 10 pounds here and there. He's up to 235 right now.
Whoa!
When he left here, he was 205.
Wow.
And he was always trying to put on weight, and I think. He's done it the right way, just kind of incrementally putting on, 5 pounds here, 5 pounds there over time. And in talking to him, his strength is really good compared to some of the other players as far as hang clean and squat and all that stuff. So, he's doing it the right way and working hard.
And I know they're excited. Last time I talked to Gary Dolphin, he brought him up a little bit, and it's encouraging, and it's good for your program.
Absolutely.
And here we go, 2016 season, District 7, again, Muscatine, Bettendorf, Clinton, Davenport Central, Davenport North, and Iowa City High. Oh, boy.
I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I'm pumped. I think it's great, and it's challenging, and I'll look to see. So, real quick, when will we see the schedule?
Yeah, that's a great.
If you had to estimate.
Sometime in the first week of March.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Which seems crazy.
Yeah, it does. But not really, because how fast things go.
Yeah.
And you just had a baby the other day,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And what was that, October?
Yeah.
And now we're in January?
Yeah, she's 3 months old.
Is that crazy?
It is.
It doesn't slow down.
No, I had to take her to the daycare this morning for the first time. And
it's weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different. Trust me.
Life is different now.
Walking in no time.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of muskie gear in your house, too, huh?
There is a little bit.
The most amount of muskie onesies ever. Oh, it's awesome. All right. Well, I'm glad you came in. It's good to see you and catch up and
for sure
explaining all the district stuff, because I know that it can be confusing for people that listen, that support the program. And I just figured, let's just put it out there. Everybody can know about it now, and then we'll get ready for the season.
Sounds great.
And we'll pick things up. Oh, boy, here we go. It's still January, though, so we got to keep that in mind, unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for coming in, Coach. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll talk to you soon.